6 years with your we are government, and we are caretaker. We are the one that's doing the cleaning all and thing. Since Joseph Boakai for the past 6 years, since Joseph Boakai took over for the past 3 months, they be demanding us to come to work every day. For me, I pay $450 to where I live to come here and $450 to go back. Every day they will take listing for oil and carry. But I was surprised yesterday, the minister called that he want to have a meeting with us. So we got there, Paulina came, and Paulina said there is no budget for us. She's not going to pay us, and she put it all down. Maybe when she get money the 15th or next month, she will pay us. For everybody that work on a job, we are government, she will put everybody down, and that's what she did. So we got angry, we went to the mansion in group. 730 persons. Paulina, she said, Joe, we have put her father down when you were working. So anybody that work on a job, we have retained that job, we have put that she will put them down. Paulina cried to her. So therefore, she came and said, she's not working with us again, and she didn't pay us. So I saw that we work in this government for the past 6 years. And then for the 3 months that Joseph Boakai got there, we've been working early in the morning, we can't early in the morning, we can't work. We have been working for the past 6 months. So they should get our pay so that we can go and sit down. And she left, so we should go and sit down and wait for the 15th. And I'm telling the Liberian government, I'm telling Boakai, Joseph Boakai, I said Joseph Boakai, and I'm always talking to the senator, representatives that we elected you, we voted for you. We are single mother with all your. We voted for you in the house. You're sitting there. Paulina play with us. And Paulina play with us. She will get it wrong for herself. She will get it wrong. Paulina, the small child. She run it. She know how to have. She baby. If you want to take off anywhere, pay us. We'll go and sit down. But you can't come and tell all people that we're on your way government. Are we not Liberian? Are we not Liberian? That you taking bread from our table, taking food from our mouth because of your we are? Please, our senator, you get back. Our senator in the house, you have been talk for us. You say you are going to talk for the women. That's what Paulina is doing to us. She's taking bread from our mom. We will be marching as a group. We all will be going to the mansion in black. We will walk to the mansion and we'll point tire. And they will kill all the way they keep putting in your that they kill us. Because that's why they keep for the kill. They say they kill the rescue. But they never kill the rescue or they kill the kill us. We will march to the mansion, everybody going to wear black. Everybody that wear the minister of state that they put down, I've been saying they will wear black. We'll go to the mansion, we'll put tire, we'll bring it, we'll walk to the mansion. The liar they get there, the information director, the information minister is a black liar. The people came to steal. He came outside when he saw us. He stood on, he said, your words are coming to Paulina, coming back. He never came back. He just left on the only thing they did, they called the police start shopping us all over the place. So if they will kill us, they must be ready to kill us someone. We are Liberians. We work and we earn our own money.
They come and say they came to rescue us, but they came to kill us slowly. There's some of us, we have 10 children, no husband, to even help us to sustain our children. Now on the side, what we're sending, that Susu can help us to pay our rent, to pay our children's school fees. But the government, people come here around, they tell us that we should leave the sidewalk. And once of the several areas, they sort of be careful with. The water side, the poo water running from China Baby. They're not putting effort to clear the poo. Yeah, Central Bay. Or in the car road, the necklace, they're not in the flag, on the car road. Yeah, all the they can occupy the car road. The government see that one. But with the innocent people, why we don't have job facility? Our children all high school in college, and the business between us sustain our children. Just like Waka King to kill and they can rescue. Why they say we should vote for our children's future? They don't want our children's future. They can damage our children's future. If they love the citizen and they don't want riot, police or soldier, nobody can stop us. Because now where we get our children from? None of the broad men, they're not supporting children with a mother, with a husband, with everything, supporting children with a mother, with a husband, with they're not supporting children with a mother, with a husband, with everything. None of the broad men, they're not supporting children. None of the broad men, they're not supporting children with a mother, with a husband, with everything. There's some of us were not educated at the basement back here. So when they temper around us, temper them with poo. Some of us will not of our weapon. We're going to medicine man. Was when you come into our market, we'll plan your eye, we will cripple you. Papa signal will whistle on you. Because we fell out with that no say in their country. Yeah? Just say I can rescue them, one kill or slow them. That killing them. So security, they kill my police, they kill me around with selling police, they kill no get all awareness. For now until the 7th, they will see all on the street. That's why you don't get nobody job facility. And they're on the street. The people from the federal office they can come by our son. And what people making in it. Yeah. And that basically would not belonging in market. Now along the street. And that market or say woman in the general market. Say la bureau phone all over the world. The great America, they sat on the street. Africa, they sat on the street. That they la bureau. What can improve that they want to suppress up on the street.
Bad people will use electronic and print media. They use everything to promulgate dirty propaganda. So they take advantage of that and they spread their own dirty propaganda to outpower us, to outsmart us, to dirty us around the world. So investors cannot come here because you want to come. They'll be afraid. That's their intention, not to allow investors to come. So they do all kinds of things to destroy this government image. That's what I know. Because this government cannot involve itself in killing people and killing people. President Joshua, when he became president, he opened a church.
In more recent time, and just over the weekend, Ambassador Joseph Yuma Boakai made a statement that people shouldn't take men's job and give it to boys. He's a boy taking over a man's tax in the presidency. What do you make of that?
Two things I want to say. That statement doesn't go well with me. If Mr. Weir is a boy, then I think he's a good boy. Because Joseph Boakai, former Vice President Boakai, dropped in his heart, he collapsed. Almost died. It is that boy, because George Weir, who ran there, pick him up, charter a plane to fly him abroad for open heart surgery that made him to live today with pacemaker battery. He's a battery total right now. So the battery is controlled by the white man who gave it in a medical center where he was flown to. So maybe he's not well to speak the way he's speaking. He's not well. He's using battery. It's not normal. A man who is using battery and a man who has a natural eye, compare the two. So Joseph Boakai, the former vice president, he's using battery. He's a battery total. Such a man cannot even be president of this country. He's sick. So maybe that the frustration making to speak the way he did, calling the president boy. So Joseph Boakai, the former vice president, he's using battery. He's a battery total. Such a man cannot even be president of this country. He's sick. So maybe that the frustration making to speak the way he did, calling the president boy. So Joseph Boakai, the former vice president, he's using battery. He's a battery total. Such a man cannot even be president of this country. He's sick. So maybe that the frustration making to speak the way he did, calling the president boy. How many million people voted that boy? So many millions. Look at this boy and elected him. Maybe you call George Weir boy because of the age, because Joseph Boakai is over 70 and this boy is about 50 something. So when you say boy, well, that's it. But boy in the sense of immaturity, no. George Weir is mature. He's mature. That's why he told Joseph Boakai on the ground where he collapsed to fly here, bro, for medical checkup, for medical heart surgery. That's why made him to live today. I think Joseph Boakai, in conclusion, should be very grateful to that boy who flew in out of the country for open heart surgery that make him to live today. But the way Joseph Boakai speaks, the way he acts, he is one of the 9 ungrateful lepers. The fact is, you could have know you, but he did not. He did not. He saved this old man. But what the old man is returning is ungratefulness. Call this president boy. You call the whole Liberian president boy, then you old man, you told him battery around here. But I cannot look at a battery man and elect you because any minute you could collapse. But you already say you want to be president and we know your record. You're on the time bomb, on the borderline.
Just sitting and laughing and reading the comment section. John Baloo said the reason why he's in this is to save the state. Save Liberia. But Senator Baloo was senator when in his county 5 wonderful Liberians gruesomely murdered. Their bodies were mutilated. He didn't say anything. A colleague who was then a senator whose name is enshrined in the TRC report, whose testimony you can find everywhere, that allegedly carried out a massacre on the Kavala River, became a senator from in jail. He came from jail. That case died in Maryland. Senator Baloo was senator. Senator Baloo was senator when Keith Juba was killed. Senator Baloo was senator when the Fula man was beheaded in River G. Senator Baloo was senator when the 17 young men were killed between Lower Magidi and Grand Bassa County. Senator Baloo was senator when one of the people who funding all of his effort was giving Intergenetic Hospital money and squash car to love it for him him to move on traveling ban and access free. But today, he said he wants to save the country. Senator Balu was senator when Bridgeway from London came to do prospect in Liberia. Senator Balu then got vehicle and money.
I'm a teacher in profession. Robert here is one of the daughter's son. Robert is one of the incredible son. Robert here is deserved to be a $7.6 million in the budget. Okay, and they say they didn't.
Put me in any situation I can handle to me. If you talk to somebody and they tell you, say, oh,
I'm going to get beat this few times because no, listen.
I don't think I can do this. It's against my faith. I don't
Agostina,
want to do it.
Agostina,
Yeah.
you can't put me in any situation that I can handle. Don't do it to me. You can't put me in any situation that I can handle. Don't do it to me. You can't put me in any situation that I can handle. Don't do it to me. If you talk to somebody and they tell you, say, oh, because I'm Moali, don't do it. Don't put me in any situation I can handle.
I don't talk to anybody, boy.
No, okay, you ain't got to do it. What you do for me, let her go to the lady tomorrow morning. We'll see her. That's all. You ain't got to do anything. Yeah?
Yeah, for what now?
Agostina, don't put me in any situation I can handle. Where yeah?
At the station.
All right, I'll come in for you after you're so we can see her, yeah?
So do what now?
Not doing anything. We'll just go and see her.
I don't do anything, but I can't do it. I can't afford it.
Agostina, then it will not be for me.
It's not a job budget. If somebody come and stand in front of me and say Representative Grace misleading the public, it's a disservice to you, and you must hold their feet to the fire because some of you voted for these thieves. Okay, that was the is a thief. It's a thief. I'm telling you, it's a thief. Anybody who lie on what you told, he had checked here. We published no checks before. He denied a signature on those checks before 2020 campaign. He's a common criminal. I'm saying that to you. He's a common criminal. There's the budget he voted for. He's a criminal because he lied at $3.6 million not in the budget. He can't take me anywhere. I defy him. That's a criminal. No, I'm not angry. I'm being forceful. I'm being intellectual. I'm providing facts. No, I said something I didn't mention him, so they don't know the medicine. He has no integrity in lie about integrity. He's in the crisis of integrity. He's drowning in the crisis of integrity. He's not only fake. He's drowning in the crisis of integrity. I say he's a criminal. He's a thief. To take a $45,000 car in the budget to vote for it, not just but to vote for it, and you didn't inform the people because say everything you inform the people on record for that, and he didn't say anything about it. Okay, the pastor didn't vote, but why he didn't say it? Why he didn't say he voted for it? The records are there, Lord. Gentlemen. Senator Delon should be treated as a common criminal for lying to the public that there's no $3.6 million in the.
Just that star 799 hash and follow the process, but we'll drill you through. Let's bring in Abu Sharif.
Good morning. Good morning, Austin. And of course, I'd like to say a pleasant good morning to all of our followers, those of you in the diaspora, our friends, our fans, and even those of you who do not like the things we say, the way we say the things we say. It's good to have you join us this morning again for what promises to be a very fascinating conversations around issues of critical national concerns, governance, policies, decisions, and what have you will be all highlighted here this morning. Yes, at 8:15, we expect to have the Gbapolu County Senator and former Finance Minister Amara Kone here in our studios to have these conversations. And like I said in my post, all things considered, it is indeed a privileged opportunity to have somebody who is at the center of most of the leadership happenings and conversations for the last almost 2 decades. He's been around, so he is a reservoir of knowledge and understanding on a whole lot of these things. So yes, it's going to be policy driven, governance, decisions, and all that. So whether it's the King Jong-un, I mean, just everything. So you don't want to miss the conversation this morning. But in the meantime and between time, we will throw our own little thought on this whole debate around the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Code, the attitude that we are seeing from up Capitol Hill among lawmakers. I'm told session was almost disrupted yesterday at the Honorable House of Representatives because representatives were seen wearing activists or t-shirts of activism, and it created a scene. So yeah, we'll play excerpts from there, and so that's the shape and size of the conversation. Thanks for being there always, and please share the video for those of you watching. Please share the live so that the entire country can have a feed of what is it going to be here this morning.
Is the 27th event still in time?
The 27th?
Yes. The 27th, the 29th.
The 28th.
The 28th. But why you don't want to? Why you want to break the news after the fast?
It is usually breaking the news. I'm the newsmaker. I don't break the news that I make.
Okay, folks. So here is it. Those of you who've been concerned about Abu, the man has made a decision, and so that decision, all of us who are his friends and relatives, we've endorsed it, and so Abu will be getting wedded. You don't cry. You don't get it. I see you start sending the messages. The man, you don't get it. The thing with the man not tradition, but the man
nobody get cause to get it. You must have a cause to get
the
it.
man married more than one, so you forget it. But the man is making the first decision. He's taking the first wife. So you don't get very. When you go get vetting, you spoil away, then the second one, the man close to you. Because the bob brave, and then you make decision adjusting for that one. But whatever the situation is, Abu is getting married on the 29th of the 28th. Sorry, the 28th. The 29th is the celebration. The 28th is the wedding. So on the 28th, Abu, the decision has been made. The preparations are ongoing. So every day we come here, we give you update about the wedding. The same way we do Freedom Cash giveaway here every day. That's the same way we do update here every day about Abu's wedding. We want the wedding to be one of the most famous wedding in the country in April. We want the entire country to know, in fact, the entire world, because there are people, there are followers and friends in the diaspora that also listen and watch us live every day. So we want the entire world to know that the only Abu Sharif behind the microphone doing talk show in Liberia is getting married on the 28th of April. And so all of you have to be aware, the females, the males, the women, the men, you all have to be aware that Abu is getting married on April 28th. So, congratulations.
Thank you. For some reason, I just knew that they were. But anyway, folks, that's the information.
Any information you need about the men wedding, your contact me or Abu. If you dare rather, you contact me from the media perspective. Any information you need about the men wedding, even if you are a female and you are angry that the man is getting married and you want to make inquiry, contact me. I will give you the information or the clarity you need. Contact Fidel City, he will give you the information or the clarity you need.
Correct.
Or you contact KOK, he will give you the information. Any information we give you, you're taking as a fact. We tell you, say, they may not see the quality in you, that when he marry you.
And when you call the boys, you're calling at your own risks. So when you call the boys, you're calling at your own risks. Anyway, folks.
No, all the female calls will be directed to KOK and okay, all the females who got concerned about Abu's wedding, you contact KOK and Fidel City. Don't call me. All the males that got concerns, inquiries about Abu's wedding, you contact me. Or you can contact Zebra. Well, we got our lawyer already on the Council of Quebec Sign. So there are some issues that require litigation. Yeah, we can divert them or direct them to Council of Quebec Sign. She's a legal consultant on the whole wedding. Yeah. So that is a structural wedding, well organized. Okay.
So if you know the announcement,
if there are security issue, no, the place will be well secure. We got AB Kuman and Samson and right here. So we're going to secure the wedding venue. There will be no intruders. So you're not worried. There will be no intruder. The brother will be saved, the madam will be saved, and all that. But congratulations to you guys. That's a bold step you've taken as a young man. It's a brave decision. It's a challenging one. Sure. But it comes with determination to grow or develop, to transition from one level to another level.
Certainly.
I think you have all of the qualities it takes to be a married man. So don't look at the age. So we can go. Let's give the people some money this morning.
Certainly.
Come here. Let's give them some money. This is the first winner. The number is already on the screen. That's the first winner this morning.
Okay, so let's begin with this person. Let's begin with this first. Let's give the first 4,000 Liberian dollars. Like we told you, Okay, so the first person is on. Good morning, welcome. You're listening to Freedom FM. Fine. How are you this morning? You just won yourself $4,000 Can you confirm receipt of the notification?
What's your name? I'm Clarence. Oh, Clarence. How many times have you played our cash giveaway? This morning,
1 million times, man, Clarence. So, ain't your one time gave you 4,000. So, how you feeling right now?
I feel okay. I'm feeling before I was discouraged was that,
So you got the courage to continue.
I will continue already.
All right, my brother.
That's Clarence. So all you have to do, folks, this is how the process goes. We'd like to play along with you. So there's a second winner. So let me just take my time to drain and choose small. So those of you who have mobile, Lone Star mobile money accounts, you are only one qualified to play this cash giveaway. Now, so what you take your mobile money phone and dial *799#. And then you enter. It's going to take a few seconds to read. Now, the options will appear. 13 options will appear. Freedom FM is at number 11. So you enter, you press 11, and you send. When you send it, there are two options that come to you. The first option is requiring you to play in USD. And the second option is asking you whether you want to play in LD. So normally we realize that many people love to play in LD. So you enter number 2 and then you send. Now at this point, once you enter number 2 and send, they ask you to enter your mobile money password. When you enter your mobile money password, it's a bingo for you. You are a potential winner. Today is $4,000 we are giving away, not $2,500.
Okay.
So Abu,
let's call one winner, somebody who just won. So let the man batch your own 1%. As soon as you
play,
so
I think we'll switch
let's
to
refresh
this.
and see who else is a lucky winner.
Okay, so the next winner
for today.
The next winner here is 415.
$4,000 can give you one bag of 25 kg, right?
The next winner is 64.
86.
Yes, 86. Sorry, 888.
645.
And then the last one is 7.
Okay.
We're careful to read all the numbers on the radio before scammers start to engage, because there are some people who were calling people, telling them they mistakenly transfer money, they should send the money back.
Hello, good morning. Fine, you're live on Freedom FM. What is your name? Nya? Nya, did you receive any SMS on your phone?
Yeah, I received it, yes, sir.
What's the message saying?
I received $4,000 the other day.
So when you receive $4,000, you can be sunny.
It's on a Wednesday too.
Yeah, but so it ain't change anything in your body. So you said the day by itself, though. Nah.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
You're welcome. That's the third winner. The fourth winner here is on 555.
Okay.
You got it?
555.
005.
005. Okay. So let's call
our fourth winner. Each person is walking away with $4,000 this morning. So just
$100,000
to give away. So you have to play. Just that *799# and follow the instruction or follow the options.
Good morning. You just won yourself $4,000. Can you confirm receipt of the SMS?
Can you keep
did you play the Freedom Cash giveaway this morning?
Yeah, I
Full
played 4 times.
time this morning.
Yeah.
All right. So can you keep the phone on and check the message? Yeah, if you're able to do it, cool. Oh, the message
Yeah.
exactly so you got
The
it.
man, the man go and check Google to know the
Put
man should be
that
here.
in a plate.
So the fifth winner is here on 888
888.
754.
That should be the fifth winner, right?
The fifth, sorry, the fifth.
Yeah.
754.
Okay. 754. Okay. So you're better off, folks. We told you that we will be giving money. So when everybody finish collecting their money, and then we sit down and you get that extra energy to sit by the radio and follow the conversation. Good morning. Good morning. You are live on Freedom FM.
Okay.
What is your name, sir, and where are we talking to you from?
This is Augustine Wallace. I'm there on Johnson Street.
Okay, Augustine from Johnson Street. You just won $4,000 from the Freedom Cash giveaway. Can you confirm receipt of the text message?
Yeah, confirm receipt.
Okay.
How many times have you played?
I don't even know the time, man. I've been trying to play.
So this morning, how many times you try?
So I just tried one time this morning.
I see. You take it.
That's how it works. That's the process.
That's what they call bumpy. Early morning bumpy.
I'm bumping this morning.
Yeah. Operate that up.
Okay, so let's go to this other winner. Let's go to this winner. And okay, let's go to this winner.
We have
okay, so 0886 233.
233.
This is his last number.
And they want that correct opportunity for opposition man or your opposition. You take your first fee every money you play, you get a full G. You put some credit in your phone. Call you D with the lawmaker, honor represented district. Hello, good morning.
Yeah.
You're live on Freedom FM.
Yeah.
Your name and where are we talking to you from?
I'm Kiwi.
Kiwi.
Yeah, Kiwi. I'm on disability, man. I hear you all over radio.
Yeah.
I get it, they say. I get you calling me my number.
Oh, but you play the Freedom Cash giveaway. You play the. Okay, so you know. Okay. Why are you visually impaired? Oh, okay, but you. Yeah. Okay, congratulations. You just won $4,000, okay?
Thank God.
So you yeah, that's why we say we won't dash you 4,000 in the morning. And so you feeling happy, eh? Okay. All right. So what's your name again? Jewie. Okay. J. John Jewie. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so I think we can move into our conversation.
Yeah,
and then we'll come back and announce and call the remaining.
That's about 8
because,
winners so far. So before the close of the show, we will call the next set of winners, 10, 15, or whatever. So, but the money is here, up to $100,000, and all you have to do is just play the Freedom Cash giveaway this morning and stand a chance to win 4,000, 8,000, just as lucky as you can be. And you know that's how much you can manage to collect from the basket. So we have a basket here. The money inside, literally, and you just have to take your phone and play, and then you receive the transfer on your mobile phone.
So those of you asking how to play, the process is just very simple. All you have to do is just dial *799#. And you know, I love to play along with you, with the folks. so they understand how it works. So all you have to do is that *799#. Boom, you enter. It's going to take some seconds to read. Now it has read. So Freedom FM is at number 11. Enter 11. That's it. Easy to play. I'm playing in LD. So I enter number 2 and sit. I'm waiting for the request for my password. Now the request has pump up. So I enter my password, bam, 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 bam. And then I send. I have played already and waiting to be called that I have won $4,000. But I can't enter my password because I am not qualified to play. I was not qualified. We here at Freedom FM, we are not qualified to play. So, but that's the process. That's how simple and short the process is. Once you dial *799#, you follow the instruction. The only thing that may give you a hard time is to, when you dial *799#, what to enter next. So once you dial *799#, you send, you wait, the options will come to you with different radio stations. Freedom FM is at number 11 on the list of radio stations. At that point, you enter number 11, and then you just continue. The option now behind you is very easy to understand, and then you are a potential winner of $4,000 on today's edition. Every Wednesday, we give away $4,000 instead of $2,500. Every Friday is a jackpot. That one at $20,000. But Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, regular $2,500.
And Saturdays,
and Sundays, yeah, regular $2,500. But at times, our partner can say today, that Sunday will give me more. Okay, but that's how it works. That's the process.
Who knows? Probably on my wedding day, we're giving 8,000.
Who knows? So anything, our partners can do anything to please our followers and all of that. So we have additional winners, but we'll go to our in-house chat until Senator Connor arrives for us to talk politics. But as the show is ongoing, you can keep playing those who are keep playing and winning. So we are doing draw while we are talking. We are doing draws, and we announce the winners and call them today. If we can call all today, we'll begin the show tomorrow by calling the remaining winners on today's edition and continue with drawing more winners tomorrow.
That's correct.
That's how it works.
So let me say, because I've started receiving messages already. So thank you all for your kind words and the congratulatory messages. Thank you so kindly. Yes, of course, there is always that moment, and these are part of our spiritual completion. You want to be spiritually completed, religiously fulfilled. You have to endeavor to do the most appropriate things in the sight of God, and that's what we've chosen. So we'll be joining the association that my man Austin has been in for some time now. So we have the initiation, and so a lot of things, like Austin said, we will bring you up to speed with, but this is the initial public notice, and so we can go on.
So let's play you yesterday's happening at the House of Representatives. So you heard the speaker, and he's being quizzed cleverly by many reporters, but there's a reporter there who really placed the question right before him.
Right before
His control of the flow. So his control of the flow instead of his preference to control the flow instead of adjourning the session. And his response was interesting. He said, "Not on this issue," But you will see the inscription on the T-shirt: "War Economic Crimes Code is a must." And these are all lawmakers wearing orange face caps, on some in orange neckties, and some wearing the orange T-shirts and all of that. But there's a specific interview that I'd like us to play too.
Some lawmakers led by representatives they have to wear their T-shirts for the war crimes code. Representative Kaluba, welcome to school. Yes, and can you see you are in this T-shirt, and why this session was disrupted?
We were not disrupted. These are similar. We want to go and make time for the fact. So we can go and resemble ourselves. We are there instead of fighting war and killing people. Why are we afraid of bringing war into the country? The code must come. And we are going to ensure that next time we come here, we are going to ensure that block all the entrances. The Senate will not enter here until they endorse it.
What do you think is the right thing to do while the session is ongoing to disrupt it?
It is. It's taking too long. It is. If we have to do this for 30 days, we'll do it for 30 days. It is important that anything we think about here.
Is it a quick fix issue?
No, it is not a quick fix. It started in the 50s and was delaying the 50s. You see people today that endorsing the 50s do not want to endorse in the 50s. That deception is wrong. You can't do that to the people. You can't be sending the 50s in the 50s.
One of the things I do on the program for the World Cup.
Yeah. So we are going to say, objectively, show that we block all the entrances. Watch and see. We'll be in our T-shirt. The single one is this time around to no, let me tell you something. Watch the process and see. Look, watch. You see police?
So I think the message is clear, Abu. That the Senate must endorse it. They have signed rather their resolution, rather they seek the majority signatures. They sign onto the resolution, the joint resolution to establish war crimes court in the country, and then they forwarded it to the Senate. The Senate, in their different explanations, they believe that they think the Senate is taking too long to take action on the matter. And so the way to call the Senate or compel their colleagues in the upper house to take action is to disrupt or demand disrupt session or demand it's difficult to dodge the word disruption. Because the matter was not on the floor of the house. So the fact that you say we demand the establishment of war and economic crimes code, a decision that you have taken as the house that is before the Senate. I mean, there's no way we can have a conversation about saying the session was disrupted in demand of the Senate to pass the war and economic crimes code.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give somewhat unpopular opinion about this matter. Yeah. And I'm very convicted in why I think so. The scene yesterday was childish. It was, for me, just mere showmanship and political bluff, because these lawmakers are supposed to understand what it takes to establish the war crimes court in Liberia. The first bluff to this very important and significant issue in our country was demonstrated by the president. The president made a declaration without any complementing commitment for the establishment of the war crime code. Is a slap in the face of victims. It's a slap in the face of those families who lost just everything in their lives and have been grieving for justice, have been grieving for accountability, have been grieving for reparation, right? And all that. So the president did not show a living commitment for the establishment of the war crimes code. And I will say why. to the legislature, Article 34 of the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia, subsection E, grants the authority to the legislature to constitute courts inferior to the Supreme Court, including Circuit Court, Claims Court, and such other courts which such prescribe jurisdictional powers as may be deemed necessary for the proper administration of justice throughout the Republic of Liberia. That's what the law says, and it's there. The law did not say wear orange t-shirt and disrupt session, right? That is not what that is not how the code gets established. There's a clear cut on how we can get to this point. So for the legislature to demonstrate will and commitment and seriousness about the establishment of the code, they must be writing bills. They must be proposing bills for the establishment of the War Crimes Code. Then the debate starts from there. Resolutions don't give you the War Crime Code. So it's all intended for political gimmick, I like to put it, right? At the end of the day, maybe certain people feel like, oh, there are other elements here, so we won't be doing that to kind of corner people politically. And it does not make sense to me. We can reduce our national conversation to these kinds of mere politics. It has to be genuine, it has to be principled, and it has to be in keeping with the law. And these are our lawmakers. So the attitude was childish, was disruptive, and it leads nowhere. It leads absolutely nowhere. All of them in that place know what they need to do to get the War Crimes Code. They have not done that yet, right? They have not done that yet. So all of the champion, for example, Yeke Koluba, that appears to be the champion now, right? Yeke should sit down with people and draft a bill in that direction and submit it. Because the executive failed to do, the executive only went and declared that, oh, my government, and he has taken no practical step towards it. So I feel like the government of today is making mockery out of the citizen when it comes to the War Crime Code issue, because this is very, very concerning to most Liberians. So they're using it always to settle political score instead of actually working to address the justice concern of many victims in the country and the significance that this court's establishment will play in deterring anyone, any Liberian citizen, for going back to or trying to use war or the butchers as a means to settle situations in the country. So I mean, that's just what I think about it. It's very, very unserious. And Yeke, you all know the way Yeke has been going about. I mean, we need policy-driven advocacy. We do not need the regular, sidewalk. You don't take sidewalk advocacy to the legislature. You don't do that, right? At that place, you have the platform to effect change in the country. So you don't do your advocacy like the men down Kerry Street. So apparently the lawmakers, some of them have forgotten what their responsibilities are, the opportunity that they have. Just probably they do not know, or they have some limitations on it. But I cannot be, as a lawmaker, I can't be sitting there and be wearing t-shirt like regular down the street and, activists and advocates. No, they must go a step above that. They must do something, and that when we see it, we start to read, then we know that the process to achieving the establishment of the War Crime Code has commenced. But everything that's happening now, the day the people get serious to establish a War Crime Code, we all will know, we all will see it, and it will be clear. That's my initial summation.
Okay. And I wouldn't want to use or accept the choice of war charge, but I think there are different processes that the legislature the legislature goes through to take decisive action on a particular instrument. And I wouldn't want to wholly accept the fact that a bill has not been introduced. Should me the lawmakers cannot use a resolution as a beginning point to enact the War and Economic Crimes Code. So at times, the reason why some parliaments will choose to go for a joint resolution is to ease the process of enacting a bill. So, in this case where this thing appears to be heavily political, that has external political interest as well. So, I don't want to speak for the legislature, but I want to believe that the primary reason why the lawmakers, not only the House, but the senators are also using the same resolution process to gather signature to sign the resolution and then begin the process. So I want to believe that they choose to use this process, like I said, to ease the legislative bureaucracies that some of these bills or some of these legislative instruments go through or will have to go through to get passed. Now, if you have a joint resolution signed by the majority of members of the House and the Senate, it makes it easier to just draft a bill and get it passed and get it endorsed. Because the signature is a form of legislative endorsement to any legislative instrument. So once you have a joint resolution signed by the majority, it's just a process of developing the instrument and then get the signatures attached to it. Because the fact that device, so maybe it could be they choose to use this way as a faster way to get the War Economic Crimes Code passed by the government and then forwarded by the legislature and then sent to the president for signature. I heard in one of the president's interview, I think with the VOA, talking about the ongoing process with the House and the Senate. So the fact that he too acknowledged the process that the legislature is using to get the crimes code, the crimes code established in the country or established by the country. According to him, he said he's waiting for the action. The legislature is taking action. He's waiting for the outcome to act. So I think it's a joint process that they all have signed up to. The issue about wearing T-shirt in the legislature, that one a normal thing. People is a form of this. The political solidarity is a form of is a part of the legislative process where people wear uniform to be identified for a particular cause, and after that cause is achieved, they can separate and go to pursue their respective political agenda or ambition and all of that. For me, I don't have major problem. We saw in the 54th, I think the independent legislators in the House, where they were wearing red berets and red T-shirts and all of that.
Talking about the one with the late, is it Nangbis Law?
Yes, Nangbis Law, Francis Dobo, who's now in the Senate, the same Yeke Cordoba. They were all wearing Richard Kun. Mm-hmm. They were all part of the blog that was wearing red T-shirt as a means of advocating or calling the speaker then to ensure that opposition lawmakers are given a chance to air their views and their opinions on issues they felt that they were being denied, and the way to show that they were united in the engagement of the leadership of the House was to wear beret or T-shirt to be identified and all of that. So it's good that we're on record for supporting that, even though it was a mixture of lawmakers from different political parties. But these things are, for me, I think they are necessary for the beauty of our democracy.
So yeah, you're right about that, right? But the point is, this is not, an outright condemnation of the idea of donning.
No, I understand.
Right? But in this particular case, where there is, we're looking at the urgency now, because first of all, the president recall the legislature for the sole purpose of deliberating the national budget.
And this is why
Right.
I support the action yesterday.
Right?
You know,
I come in. Right? So the action they took yesterday was to demonstrate that we have this, and this is a brainy issue that we need.
sure.
So I am saying, yes, I recognize that this is an emergency that we need, right? But clearly, with the law, there are very strong other ways legally that these legislators with the passion demonstrated, right, that they could pursue, and it will be showing a lot more seriousness.
Which could delay the process, and the budget will get passed, and there will be nothing allotted in the budget.
No,
for
to
the-
submit the bill.
to fund the
Because when you
process.
finish the resolution thing, you got to go back to the bill process. So
my thing
you
is,
are adding to the bureaucracy.
No, so my thing is, you have
So get off that whole something, do something, pull on the floor, and then we start moving from
okay.
there.
So my thing is, you already have a joint resolution signed by majority members of
Mhm.
the legislature.
That is just to demonstrate
Right?
consensus.
Political will.
Yeah, to demonstrate that we are at a point of agreement on this one. So yeah, we sign. So the
So-
moment it comes, then we go along.
So that signature document, that resolution has the intent. Is the intention of that resolution is stated.
But
So you-
it is not
so-
a prerequisite.
It doesn't have to be indicated as a prerequisite. But the message is that all of us here in majority in the legislature, we have agreed on the establishment of the war and economic crimes code, and this is the joint resolution that will drive us towards our action. Okay, so once you have that joint resolution,
But
and
do you agree that there have been resolutions there in that place?
resolution about what?
The war crimes code.
No, there has not been a process where the both house will have a resolution that will start soliciting signature. One resolution was submitted, I think, in the 50th day, but that resolution did not even get it did not even see its way on the floor of the house for the establishment of war crimes code. I remember
The
in
54th.
the 54th. I can't remember a resolution being formally introduced. I know there was a communication
There was a
waiting to
resolution.
no. I know there was a communication waiting to the effect. But whether there was a resolution formally done and the process of gathering signature begun, no, I don't have that information available now. So for me, this the entire years I covered the legislature, this is my first time to see the quality of the conversation around war economic crime school establishment.
Really?
Yes, and I think I can describe the action as a concrete action. It's good that Senator Connor is coming because I was in the Senate the other time and I saw he and Senator Snow in having a conversation with another lawmaker. And I can say that he was lobbying for signature, but I can say clearly that Senator Snow is on record for leading the process, lobbying for signature in the Senate to get this passed. And that's part of the question we're going to ask you, so we'll not go in. I will not go in detail in the Amara Corner aspect. But the point I'm making here is about the instrument that is supposed to facilitate supposed to drive the establishment of war crimes with the financial instrument is the budget. We can do anything outside the budget. The House has taken action. The budget is before the House. It has been before the Senate. The resolution has been before the Senate. The Senate has been struggling for signatures. We are on record here for stating clearly that the pro-tem, from all indications, the pro-tem is in the process of lobbying against. It doesn't seem to be in favor of this whole war economic crimes quoting and signature. So it appears to be a game being played between the executive mansion and the leadership of the Senate, them to cause to delay the entire process.
Then why did the House members of the House, after passing their resolution, right, and agreeing among themselves for the war crimes code, right? Why did they do what they did yesterday?
That's where I'm going. So the fact that they hearing different information about the leadership of the House or the pro-tem does not seem to be in favor of this whole war economic crimes code debate. And she's using she's been asked to use her leadership to delay the process until the budget is passed and all of that, and a 1 year delay until the government can get settled down and everything, then they can begin the process and all of that. So it is possible that these representatives all have also gathered the same information and said, no, if this is the case, since the budget is before us, we can do all two together and send a message, and then we could reach a bargaining. Because mind you, Abu, the president cannot be on record of wanting to establish war crimes code. This is part of his 100 days deliverables.
And that's the commitment aspect I'm coming from.
And so the commitment is supposed to be tied to the budget. We can pass a national budget with speed from the House or the joint committees. We pass with speed the national budget because the president wants it. And don't include in the budget a very critical aspect of the president's 100-day deliverable, the War Economic Council. So what do we do? Since we are squeezed with time, the space is small, we've gone over 72 days in the 100 days. What do? Can we do the two together? Take an action that will compel the Senate leadership or the senators to fast track the gathering of their signatures, and then we do the two together. Because if we're doing budget hearing, we need the Minister of Justice to come tell us what's the president's view. What's the president's interest in the whole War Economic Crimes Code? What does he think? How does his office intend to fund this the elementary process of establishing the War Economic Crimes Code? The draft budget, as we speak, there's nothing in that for it. We're going to be talking policy issue. Then a major policy conversation is ongoing. The budget is before the legislature, and there's nothing that speaks to commitment to that policy issue.
Correct. And your introduction.
So if I were in that house, I would have done it. I would join those people in orange to protest. I would have joined them because the budget is before. The president is telling us, "Y'all please pass the budget. Y'all please." Good. That's a good decision. But in the budget, the president wants us to pass. He's also telling us, as part of my 100 days deliverable, War Economic Crimes Code is there, but in the budget, it's not there. So what do you want them to do? Begin the budget hearing process and then include in it when the Minister of Justice and Ministry of Justice they don't put anything there. Finance Ministry did not include anything, and then you say there your past budget, then we start running the country.
Okay, so what does that make? What does that make the president's declaration? It makes it unserious, and lacking commitment.
Sure.
So now, if the president meant his declaration for the establishment of the War Crimes Code, my point is the president knows, and people around the president knows what to do. Right? We have seen them pursuing
so the fact that they're not doing what they're supposed to do.
Pursuing those lines.
They have shown lack of interest. And that lack of interest is being shown as a result of an instruction by or an apparent instruction by the chief executive.
Or certainly, you can say that.
So what do the direct representatives of the people do?
So I see the representative of the people, but here's the thing, right? In the communication to the to the legislature by the president, recalling them for the ESCOT sitting, right? The president highlighted why he wanted them to come by, and like you said, the president has declared the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Code as a prime objective of his 100 days, right? So the exclusion of that goes to say that the president does not have a practical political will for the establishment of the War Crimes Code.
They will bring in the doctrine.
It's a lip service. They will come to the legislature.
That's what the doctrine of check and balance coming over and legislature and their oversight responsibility comes.
So by the express will in the president's declaration, if I am a lawmaker, right, instead of pursuing resolution, right, that could just go in committee room and die there, right, I would rather be on record for submitting a bill to the effect of establishing the War and Economic Crimes Code and begin the process of rallying my colleagues, right, like minds and allied forces, and begin to elevate the debate. We're elevating the debate from a position of strength. What is that position of strength? That position of strength is we have already begun the first legal basis, right, to getting this. So we already have a bill. So nobody can argue, oh, we need to go. The process is long. The process is Herculean, this, that. So we are at this point. Then we start to seek the support and all that, right? And this is even buttressed by one of the senators when he appeared on the ELBC. Your county senator, Bomi County Senator, this senator.
Which one? The newly
elected, the fat one. right? Alex Tyler, right? Senator Tyler. Senator Tyler was former speaker, right? Senator Tyler understand the rudimentaries. He understand how the procedures work.
Under the government with different agenda.
No, but he understand the legislative procedures and he know how these things work.
But the way the legislature proceeds.
But you can't take away the fact that he has
the experience, the knowledge. I can't take away the fact.
But we have to achieve this.
We have to understand also that the legislature was operating in line with a particular agenda.
I agree.
A government agenda did not consider establishing war and economic crimes.
It's part of what the agenda is, right? But to achieve any legislative objective, right? He knows what are the
steps, the procedures, the different corridors, and things.
Sure. Right? So now, this man says the whole debate around the work and economic crimes code establishment have not gotten serious, right? I'm trying to paraphrase, but the point he tried to make is that has not gotten serious because we all know the establishment of codes and all these things is our duty as legislators.
Yeah.
So if all of the emergency, the urgency, and the demand that's out there in the public, so the moment we translate that into the legislature and start to act in accordance with that, you start to see us taking the practical step, of moving legally and say, okay, let somebody be the one to initiate the process of submitting a bill.
Yeah.
Right? As much as that has not happened, his view is that this is not as serious as you may take it or anybody out there may take it. And I think I share in that opinion.
And I don't share in that, but we found a time to have a conversation about that tomorrow, which is very important because I believe that you see, when you say you want to take action, is that telling somebody cook the rice? I'm telling you, cook the rice before the soup, and you tell me no, let's cook the soup before the rice. So it's the same thing. It's just the method you want to use, you want us to use to do it, and the method I want us to use to do it. So a resolution that takes us to a bill, and bill that will lead us to gathering the signatures of lawmakers to sign to voting for the sign.
But you want to take Zeri Corey to get to Freetown, and I want to take Bo to get to Freetown. So I will get easily to Freetown.
That one are economics, that choice.
Okay, so let's move into our conversation.
So I mean, for folks that say, I think whatever the lawmakers are doing up Capitol Hill, the level of engagements, the way there's the first legislature between me and you. I covered the legislature for over 10 years, and this is my first time seeing lawmakers not holding on to their opinions on any issue. Before the 52nd, the 53rd, the 54th, there are lawmakers who hold on their opinions. They have opinions, but they do not want to express their opinions because of their political affiliation.
People already disagree with you.
No, that one no more. That one no more. People disagree. If you want disagreement, you will not express your opinion in this country. So but the lawmakers are
but
not
the disagreement has overwhelmed.
It doesn't matter. There are opinions that are express opinions that are right, but unpopular in the public. Public opinion will not accept everything. So I was just letting on this thought to say there are lawmakers. Most of the lawmakers are not holding on their opinions on issues, especially critical and policy issues, regardless of their political affiliation. To see ruling party lawmakers speaking and writing the way they're speaking and writing publicly, that has never happened since 2005. And I can say that most of them hold their thoughts and go inside and talk. And I think it's good for our democracy and it speaks to the progress we're making as a country.
The bandwagon.
Yeah, so let's take this break from our sponsor, Crime Stopper Liberia. We'll come back. Our guest, Senator Connor, is already here, and then we can go on to hold our conversation. So hope this Crime Stopper thing is the right one. One or two or three? Two, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's take this break. No, it's not playing.
Take one. No. Go down. Where you got the song? Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so let's go for this break.
There are crowds in many places, in every community, you can see. So if you see crime, report it. Don't take law in your hands for the right authority. Well, it can't take your law, eh? Crime Stopper here for us, bringing safety to your door. Whether you rich or you poor, if you see a you must take it. I mean you check. You wait for your safety. If you see a don't keep it. I'm a part of report it. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, let's stopping crime for all of us. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, let's stopping crime for all of us.
Crime Stopper Liberia is here for you. Remember, you see it, you report it. This is a message from your own self, Omen Sam Sion.
Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, let's stopping crime for all of us. Crime Stopper, the people bringing.
Okay, so let's bring this one down and run straight into our discussion. Okay. So, like we posted yesterday, we have Senator Amara Kone of Babulu County in our studios. And so, let's see what can be some adjustment of the F. The F is too loud. Okay. Okay, hope is better.
Let's go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Senator, good morning. Good morning to you. Thanks for accepting our invitation.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and I'm happy to be here.
This
Good morning,
appearance,
Liberia.
this appearance is long overdue.
Yes.
From the pre-campaign activities and all of that, we've been efforting to have you here. But it's good that we have you here today and at the right time too, where there are too many policy issues, too many governing issues that we have to seek clarity about. And I think as former finance minister, former planning minister, I think you used to be in the office of the former president in the project delivery unit or stuff. So you're best suited to speak to most of the concerns and the inquiries that we have here this morning and those from the public as well.
I'm happy to help address, respond to some of those questions and concerns.
Okay, so Abu will kickstart the conversation and then we'll come in.
Yeah, thank you. I know basically I just wanted to ask to know how's the fast for you? You know, Conan people sometimes the fasting thing. Yeah, it can get it hard. And so I want to know how are you? How are you coping?
You don't want to go there with me, Abu. You know, this just leave sleeping dog line. A man doesn't fast. Then he asking me fasting question.
Oh, easy.
but it's going well. I think it's been it's a very reflective Ramadan for me, as it is for most Muslims, and we just continue to pray for our nation, our leaders. So it's going well.
That's good, and it's good to have you in our studios this morning. So, first of all, Senator Kone, like Austin said, you've been around the politics for a very long time, and your role during the just ended 2023 general and presidential election, which I consider very decisive for our country, was shown and was seen, and the nation felt your impact during the process. So I'd like to, first of all, begin with that 2023 election, your role, and how did you get here today? We're speaking to you as a senator. How was the process and your encounter?
Thank you, Abu. Thank you very much. The Liberian election was important for many reasons, and I think if we were to judge our progress as a country in this post-conflict reconstruction era, the country's acceptance of democratic governance is perhaps the most successful to date. So we shouldn't play with that. I think we should preserve that. It should become part of our culture that despite of our grievances, our anger, our disappointments with leaders, we will wait for elections to make the decision. And we shouldn't allow any leader to try to change that.
Okay.
Not that anybody wanted to change it, but we should go after the truth. We should protect the people's vote and make sure that whoever they select to be their leader will be their leaders. In my personal journey, when I came to when I made a decision, it was a tough decision. It was a decision that I pondered over for 3 years. 2020, some citizens from my county had asked me to contest in the by-election. I wasn't ready at the time because I was with the World Bank and also had family obligations. My children were in school, etc. And so I didn't have the fire in my belly, to come and contest. Then in 2022, 2020, when COVID came, I was one of the people who got COVID. First group of people. I had gone to Egypt on a World Bank mission to represent the Vice President for Africa at a forum on the Middle East, because the Middle East was part of my portfolio. And on my way back on the plane, I was in Lufthansa with a lot of Chinese. At the time, COVID was already in China, but the rest of the world didn't know. So all of them were masked. They have masks, on. And then by the time we were flying from Cairo to Frankfurt. And I got to Frankfurt, I was sick like a dog. Very sick. I even contemplated staying there to recover before I got on the long continental Atlantic journey to the United States, to Washington, D.C. And I always travel with aspirin, with some cold medicine, so I took some. But throughout the 8-hour flight from Frankfurt to Washington, I was sick. When I got to D.C., I could barely walk. I had purchased a condominium not too far from the World Bank.
Okay.
Because my family is in Pennsylvania, so to commute was difficult. I got sick, and then I realized it was probably COVID. So I had to be careful too. So I went and got tested, and then I isolated myself, treated myself. There was nothing else to it. And there were mornings where I would crawl to the bathroom, etc. So I said to myself, okay, I have to make some changes here in terms of career choices.
Okay.
And that's when I made a decision to come back home to help where I'm needed the most. And that's how I came back in 2022, announced my intention to be part of the governance process, and then went to Buffalo, tough environment, very rural Liberia, canvassed with my people. They accepted my message, and with the support of so many people from across different political parties, I was able to win that election as an independent. And then when I made a decision to come back, I wasn't too happy with the policies of the past administration, and I decided to support President Boakai, who was candidate at the time. And I saw that coordination was a problem in his campaign.
Coordination?
Yes. Coordination was very lax. And so he asked me to help fix that. And that's my area. My gift is leadership. And when I desire to do something, I do it to win. And I felt that if we could fix coordination in the second round, most likely he could win because I did not have any polling data to support that he could win.
Okay.
So I said, okay, maybe we need to just tighten the coordination, deploy security at the polling station across the country, make sure that the system that they already had in place and was underutilized by 25%, we'll optimize it to 100% and then see what happens. And I think we did that to the best of our ability, and the country saw the result.
So let me just come in quickly. What's the relationship then between coordination and vote?
You know, based on my experience in Liberian campaign, political campaigns, most of the noise is within.
Okay.
During the campaign, people are contesting for favor from the candidate, hoping that he wins and then he gives them jobs. So the focus is really on that. And then that undermines your winning. If everybody wants to be captain on the team, nobody is striving to be MVP, then you have a lot of noise. Everybody can be captain. There's only one captain. If they say this person is the campaign manager, that's the campaign manager. You can't be bypassing that person to go to the candidate because you want resources or you want the candidate to know that you're working. Work through the channel, you know. But in this case, that was the case. There were one group here that were not talking to this group, and you had a national campaign. So we needed somebody in the center who could spread his or her hands to touch everybody. And I came the right time, and I was able to do that effectively.
Now, let me ask you this. Did you think, had you not been called in to play the role you play, the results would have turned out to be something else?
I don't know. I think the honest answer is I don't know. And I don't want to speculate. What I do know is that once I came on board, I was accepted by everybody because most people there were former colleagues that I worked with in the first UP government, so they know my potential. And coordination, I started my career as a refugee school coordinator in the UN system in Guinea, and I did it so well until they helped me to go to America. And I was a project manager for a big investment firm in the US, the Vanguard Group, where I started my career.
Okay.
Then when I came here, I was Minister of Planning. That's coordination work. Minister of Finance in any country is the engine of the government. So long you get the engine turning, the government will work. And
because
I did
talking
that
about
here.
vote, protecting vote,
Yeah.
and securing vote,
Yeah.
and some will even want to include identifying the vote right
Yeah.
here. So crisscrossing between the three,
Yeah.
a system that does not or that did not exist prior to your going there, which posed a serious risk to the chances, the winning chances of the of Mr. Boubacar then.
Yeah.
And then seeing an American moving in with the putting in the necessary infrastructure, the necessary system to coordinate the process between counties and all of that. So it had to reach places that the UP did not even have a pool washers there. That's why I asked whether, in the absence of that structural change, what do you think would have been the result for the United Party?
Maybe the same outcome as the first round because the infrastructure was there. I've been consistent about this. I didn't build anything new. All of those things, the systems were there, but they were using multiple systems and they were disjointed. They were not talking to each other.
Okay.
So when I came, I spent 2 weeks in my house, quarantined, just looking at the numbers. Most people don't know that. And I wish I had recorded them to do a documentary to see how you win elections. Numbers, focus on the numbers. So I look at Mr. Weah's numbers across the country. I look at President Boubacar's number across the country. And the straight line was just established. Green versus blue. Green in the northern part of the country, and then blue in a certain part of the country. The Mosorado was a tussle. So the challenge became in second round politics, who do you align with for their extra vote? And in that case, you go for the most committed constituency, and I think ACO was very helpful here.
Okay.
And some, in Bond County in terms of increasing the votes.
Mhm.
So we focused on getting that endorsement. We got it. And then the other challenge was, all right, so you have created the votes because candidate Boakai really did well in the first round. It was very close. So that is why I answer your question. Probably if we had not brought the extra dynamism to the campaign with the support of everybody, we probably would have gotten the same result as the first round. The one dimension we brought into the second round was the security dimension, because AB, the current DA boss, was not part of the central operation of the campaign in the first round. So when I called my first meeting to show the pathway to victory to the campaign team at Belacasa, we introduced the security dimension and we threw the question out. So who in Liberia today can manage security operation to protect the poll washers and the record of count? Okay. That paper they gave after they count the ballot is the most important paper in any election. You lose it, you lose. So everybody just said unanimously, AB. I said, what is he? He said, he's somewhere in Maruda. I sent for him. That's how we sent for AB, tell the ministry reporter. We're asking if he could put a security plan together.
For the sake of our audience,
Yeah.
you're referring to AB Kuma.
AB Kuma, yes.
The LDA.
Yes. So AB came breathing her. I said, AB, we'll call you because everybody has agreed that you're the one who can really help us to protect the votes through the record of count. Can you put together a security operation for the entire country to achieve that? And he said, yeah. Then we had the EFFL guys who were also already there operating. So we didn't interfere. We just coordinated.
Okay.
And it turned out to be well. And the final thing is, one of the secret weapons we had in the second round was an airplane. Most people don't know that.
Airplane?
Yeah.
For what?
To move logistics and people around the country.
Logistics.
Yeah.
What is that logistics? What was that logistics?
Logistics in terms of
ballot paper?
No. Logistics in terms of cell phone.
Okay.
So that people could report in real time. Logistics in terms for campaign paraphernalia for our supporters across the country, because campaign was going on. Our candidate will not go everywhere. Logistics in terms of resources for them to operate, because the mobile money could not accommodate certain amount. And we paid all of our pool washers ahead to incentivize them.
So you brought in additional resources.
I don't want to go to the resources part. I met all the resources in place.
Okay.
So that is why you didn't hear a lot of noise after the election that, I didn't get paid, this and that, like the first time. So we had about 5 systems. So we met in one room, in my living room. I asked each person to demo their system. I got my first degree in systems. And I didn't do it alone. I brought up a team.
Okay.
So basically, pitch your system to us.
Okay.
Sell it to us. Why is it important? What can it do? I mean, can it achieve our objective? So we're able to eliminate 3 systems out of the 5, and we're stuck with 2. One was just by phone call, and the other one by transmitting the digital photo of the record of count.
Okay.
And I had to physically coordinate the 2 between 3 floors to make sure that the one that was just receiving a call by the phone was accurate backed by the data. Because if we have fault here in the first system and the second system was not producing the same number, then I couldn't have the confidence to appear before the country to say this is the result and the same result that NEC were announced.
Corresponding figures.
Correct. And in some cases, I had to sit behind the laptop to do the number crunching, to verify numbers, to make sure that I was not being misled, not intentionally, but maybe by some silly mistakes. I wanted the country to know that Liberia had the competency to ensure that elections were free, fair, and transparent.
Senator, I'd like to take you back to the security component of it. Why was there a need for extra security? Did you observe that the lack of security in the first round affected the numbers in the first round?
No, we had heard all kinds of news. You know, our country thrives in rumors. Some of the rumors can be true and some false. So the rumor was that, oh, in this part of the country, they did this in the first round, they did that in the first round, all kinds of things.
Okay.
So as leaders, you get that's intelligence. You get the intelligence, then you sensitize the intelligence to see which one is accurate and which one is not accurate. So in this case, I had to deploy extra people in the regions where they had suspected my practices in the first round. Individuals who were not from there, but directly from here. And people said, but we'll lose the 5 votes. And I said, well, it's better for the 5 votes to go there and verify what we're trying to, what we're hearing from party people from another region, because sometimes in our politics, the sentiments are personal. If you and I live in the same town and we don't get along, most likely we are going to bomb off each other. And some of the information that comes to the leader, you'll have to take it with a grain of salt. So they will call President Kennedy Barker at the time and gave him all kinds of information. He would tell, he would give me this information. My job was to establish the facts and take action. And that's why we brought the extra security component.
Okay, and also part of the extra security, what we observed was subsequently when you brought in the extra security, in the second round campaigning was characterized by intimidations. We saw the action in Lofa County. The EFL folks, we saw them in some instances physically engaging voters, believed to be CDC voters. Was that part of your initial strategy to intimidate your opponents?
No, I think what you saw on camera in Lofa was a reaction to what I just told you about. When I came on, there were all these things on the table. EFFL was already in Lofa when I came on, and other parts of the country. And you will notice that the places where we deploy extra security under AB's command, there was no violence. They were instructed, mandated to make sure that they stood there from dusk to dawn until the pools were closed to ensure that they observed the process and there were irregularities to flag them immediately, and so that we will report. The Deputy Minister for Administration now at the Ministry of State, Cornelia, was our inter-party person and the person who had the relationship with NEC to put all our grievances together, send it to our legal team, and our legal team with it. We were following due process, so to speak. And it was unfortunate to see what happened in Lofa. And, for the first time, President Boakai did not get votes in Lofa in the 70th percentile since electoral politics started in the country post-conflict. So he was in the 60th percentile. So that was alarming. And so in the second round, I think the objective was to make sure that that number did not further slide. And with all these rumors about ballot stuffing, about the helicopter going around, all kinds of things. So I think that's why they took that decision up there.
Okay, my last question on this, and I think Austin will come in, then we can go to issues of leadership and governance now.
Yeah.
That has to do with the authority, the legal basis for the establishment of a security task force that were considered malicious, because their attitudes were seen as one of malicious, and there were a lot of security debate about the authority they had, because the national police, the Liberia National Police and state security are responsible for electoral security matters.
Yeah.
So to see your likes, granting the establishment of an extra paramilitary or military arrangement
Yeah.
was kind of bewildering. for their life.
Fair question, Abu. So are you suggesting that you can legally question a private citizen hiring private security firm to provide protection for his or her home? Is that illegal? No, it's not. This is the same scenario. So all of us have barbed wires around our buildings. In addition to that, we put security people at the gates in the yard to protect them because the police is incapable of doing that. In the case of the election, it's clear that our police force is not strong enough to be deployed everywhere. And some of the police officers they deployed in tough terrains were just new trainees with no capacity to respond to any attempt to sort of disrupt the something. And I have to tell you, when we were shipping our phones, the phones that our pool washer were going to use, they got arrested in River G, or allegedly on the instruction of the LNP. And it was big news here. It was big news. I think if you check Google, you will see it. And the allegation was that the phones were being used to disrupt the NEC system. The NEC system is an independent, separate system. They were talking about hackers, how we're trying to hack into NEC system to change the numbers in there, which was all false. So you can argue that in that case, the police was not, a fair arbiter of justice. We had to make noise. We have to go to NEC. We have brought in a consultant, a Ghanaian, by the way, to
So you had to do a malicious leg.
No. When you use the word militia, it's like somebody's hiding something. No. It was bold. We call AB. AB has a security firm, right? He used to. Maybe he has divested from it because he's a public figure now. I don't know. But
then he had it.
Yeah, he had it.
Yeah.
And so it's like me asking AB, come and protect my home. So we made a decision to tell AB, can we use a security firm, private security firm, citizen security firm to do it? And most of the people who volunteered to do it were UP supporters, were people who wanted change to happen in the country. And then they just volunteer in huge numbers. And we just provide the logistics to move them around. And I'm glad we did that because it buttressed the police presence there. They didn't interfere with the police operation, but they were there mainly. Let me emphasize, Abu, this is not malicious. Once they announced the votes in the precinct, they put it on the wall, they gave our copy. We wanted to make sure that that copy reached the county capitals. And once it got to the county capitals, it was protected. And from there, where you had internet service, you just needed to take the picture and automatically there was a code in the phone to transmit that to Morovia. That's how we were able to be ahead of NEC, and I don't think that's malicious. That was being pretty smart.
There was also the allegation of hackers being brought in the country.
No, that was false, big false.
Who did you bring to the country?
We didn't, we built our system in Ghana.
Okay.
And the reason we did that was in Liberia, it's a small community. It's a very corrupt, predatory country, whether we like it or not. That's why we're making noise here about corruption all the time. And we're making noise how they stole the election from Mr. Baka in the first round. So I said there will be no noise this time. We're going to use the system the way it's done in other countries, the United States. The moment the poll leave the poll, we can predict that this person is the winner of that precinct in this state. On CNN, we all can see it here. You think it's a hard thing? But we don't do that here.
The technology.
No, the technology is simple. We just prove it. You can't argue against the technology anymore. We just prove it. We're ahead of NEC. And
who was the fellow from Ghana?
I can tell you that. I mean, I think so long that person is not participating in voting, you have the right to bring consultants from somewhere to build your electoral system for you. And do we have in the system? I mean, in the country, yes. Majority of the two systems we built, one was built by a Liberian, and the other one was built by a Ghanaian. So that in case there was malfunction in one, we can depend on the other one.
So you don't see that as interference?
Is there any law that prevents the hiring of consultants to build electoral system for a political party?
You are in the country.
Then who build next system?
But it's being operated by Liberian. Next system is being
no.
operated by Liberian. Yours,
The so-called biometric system that NEC introduced in this election was the Liberian that built it.
Who operated?
No, I'm asking you who built it.
I'm not concerned. It's the operational.
We operated. Did you see Ghanaians in the war room?
That's what I'm asking.
These are all Liberians. You're equals.
But
your friends.
your war room was not a public place where people will go and know who's there.
Of course. Why should I disclose my war center?
So by asking whether we saw Liberian,
you saw them later on.
Answer the question.
That is why later on.
A Ghanaian was arrested in amongst the.
Just one Ghanaian. That's our consultant who built our system.
So the probability exists that the fact that there was one Ghanaian arrested in the southeast, there would have been many Ghanaians spread across the country.
Can we argue that the probability that those who build the next system could have been somewhere to cheat for the government?
There's been no suspicion about that system. Your system has suspicion.
Just because it was never said, we got a lot of intelligence. The guy who controlled the data room was on a threat in NEC. Watch out for.
You didn't say that.
No.
You're saying that now.
Of course, it happened. It happened, and it's in NEC. But I'm not here to discredit the NEC system. Our objective was to protect the votes of the Liberian people. I'm glad that we're able to protect the 18 or to 20,000 votes that made the difference.
Okay, we can spend all our time talking about NEC and election because we have enough issues, many issues to talk about. But folks, this is Freedom Morning Rise on Freedom FM. My name is Austin Kawa. I'm here alongside Abu Sharif, and we have in our studio Senator Amara Kone of Babolo County. Now, after the election process, I'm sure you had a number of expectations that were tied to governance and reform. But that process starts with the structure of the government.
Yes.
And everybody going for job. The nomination process, as we speak, there's still concerns about the nomination process and the way people have been giving job. I think I have 1 or 2 posts and all of that on Facebook about the nomination and the structure of the government. Now, the structure we have, do you think if you were given a chance to structure the executive or to sit on the table with the team that was structuring the executive, would you rate the current structure or the pace of structuring the government a passing mark?
I cannot say that because I was not part of the decision. I was not in the room. And I can't say pass, fail, but we can judge the decision by the outcome in the public. Just like you, Austin, just like Abu, just like any other person. Then depending on your political affiliation and your understanding of governance in the country, you can make a decision. In our case, I was an elected lawmaker. I am very careful about the separation of power in our constitution.
Okay.
Since President Bouakai became president, I've only been in the mansion once, and for a leadership meeting, the first and only leadership meeting, official leadership meeting so far. For the president to meet the new leaders, to congratulate him, and to talk about coordination, working together, the two branches of government.
That sounds strange.
Yeah, but it's not strange. It's normal in democracy. So since then, I haven't been there. And the reason for me staying across the street is the separation of power. We have our leader, the pro tem. Whenever we have issues, we channel it through our leader, and our leader takes our grievances there or our recommendations there. And again, the president has the prerogative to accept or not to accept recommendations. The president has the prerogative to appoint whoever pleases him or her. That's the constitutional power. the president has. And then they say with the advice and consent of the Senate, So we already have a structure in place. We're not creating, a totally new structure. This is a government. Our government has changed since 1980 when the coup happened. President Doe was there for 10 years, and then the war came, and then President Taylor. But post-conflict would change the government a lot. Our government has become bigger. For all these commissions, because of good governance practices, etc., the government has become bigger, and that is why the recurrent cost of running the government is bigger in the budget. It's about 95% or so. So it makes it difficult to do development, right? So if your question is about, things that people have,
It's about placing the right people.
Placing the right people, yeah. So I think he's done a good job in terms of people who have the potential to deliver, people who have the requisite qualifications in these positions. Like I said publicly before, and I will say it, I wish those who are advising the president have reminded the president for the government to be more inclusive, because we criticized the previous president for concentrating the power of the executive branch in the Southeast. So I wish they had reminded the president of that and spread the power across the country. I don't see that very much. Other than that, I think the people he has there are good people.
Let me do this as a follow-up on that question of structuring the government. Upon the election, there was a transitional team set up.
Mm-hmm.
You were included in the new government transitional team
Mm-hmm.
that later transmogrified into a vetting committee
Mm-hmm.
to assist the president in nominations and appointment in the executive,
Mm-hmm.
which you subsequently declined and resigned. So the committee still remain per the record. So what does that say to you about check and balance and the separation of power, and of course credibility when it comes to confirmation at the Senate level?
Okay, first of all, I did not decline anything. Here's what happened.
So you remain on the vetting committee?
You asked a question, let me answer.
Okay.
I'm here. I will tell you what happened. And everything I do is on record.
Okay.
So after the election, the president included me on his side of the Joint Presidential Transition Task Force, the JPTT.
Yeah.
We were announced. At that point, I was an elected lawmaker, still a citizen, because I had not taken my oath for my new office. So that is why we went to Washington to sort of build the relationships there. The president built the relationships there because those relationships are important. When we came back, the very day that I took my oath at the Capitol building, that's the day I announced my resignation from the JPTT. At that point, I had nothing to do with, it was not political. Most people say, oh, Amaral now resigning and now you'll be going there. No, that was it. For me, that was it.
Oh, they said that?
Yeah, that was it. So all the vetting, the appointment, I was not part of that. And I stay out of it because when you say something publicly, you should back it up. Integrity is the things you do that nobody is watching.
So you only accepted to be there?
No, I worked
until you were officially admitted into the Senate and all of that, and then you stay away.
In the beginning, really, to be honest with you, I was tired.
Okay.
I was tired from my campaign. I was tired for the 2 weeks I spent coordinating the second round. I woke up one morning and my eyes were as red as this pen. I couldn't open my eyes because of sleep deprivation. I was not sleeping, making sure that When I stand before the country and say this is the number, I wanted to make sure that the number was accurate, that nobody else or NEC will not come and say he's wrong.
Okay.
That required 24 hours of non-sleep for 10 days straight. And I wanted to take a break, either to go to my village or somewhere else. And then they asked me to be on a team. I said, there was an argument. I'm an elected lawmaker. They said, no, the legal people said you can do this work until you take your oath. Once I was not breaking any law, I came in, and the biggest contribution I could make was to leverage my network, in terms of outside of the country, for the new administration to build those new relationships, to help augment whatever resources they will be raising domestically. And I focused on that instead of being all over the place on inauguration committee, on vetting committee. I just stay out of that and focus on making sure that we can build the external relationship that will help the government to succeed in the future.
So yes, I want us to...
Senator did not answer the question. The question was about the vetting committee that was set up, inclusive of lawmakers.
I was not there. I
You
just answered
were
my
not
question.
there, but others were there. I mean,
I
what's your
can't-
view
I can't talk about others.
on the separation of power?
No, I can't talk about. I don't have any facts that others were there. The committee was announced. It was myself and Senator Dapa Vatila, who were newly elected senators on that committee. No other person were there. Now, if you are asking that people went there on their own behind the scene, I'm too old and big to thrive in speculation. I can't speculate that. I'm just telling you the fact. I wasn't there. I resigned, and I walk away.
Okay, so we want to move into our budget conversation, and that's one of the primary reasons why we even ask you to please come and share your experience with us. Sorry for the feedback from the headphone. Hope Kuso can come in here and make some adjustments with the headphone, because it's really, really disturbing and distracting for us. The headphone is grinding, terribly grinding. So please check it.
Yeah, well, let's go. Let's go on. I have a 10 o'clock meeting.
Yes. Okay.
Mhm.
So we want to tie the whole issue about especially basic utilities like electricity, just the normal macroeconomic issues. We tie them to the budget, and then we have a long-term conversation about that. Okay. But before going there, I'd like to solicit your opinion about this whole asset recovery thing and the manner and form in which it's being done. It has been widely heavily criticized by many who are not even in the Unity Party circle about the manner and form in which the asset recovery team is proceeding. I know as part of your oversight, what about this entire process that has attracted you as a senator?
I think I wrote about this on my social media page. I expressed my view there. Asset recovery is necessary. The allegations we heard that people took government assets. Some took vehicles. Some people cleared their offices. Some people took computers, etc. It's criminal. Government asset is government asset. And that is why during our time, we introduced the coding system, where GSA will code every government asset, even the chair, the desks, the computer, everything's supposed to be coded. When GAC audits, GAC also look for those coding, because that's public money. So when you have a situation where it is being alleged that people took government cars, then the right thing to do is to retrieve them, but within law. Now, my only frustration is that we had plenty of time to sort this out, to avoid the distractions that it's creating now. This is what the transition was all about.
Okay.
You understand? So the transition was to account for what you are inheriting from your predecessors. So those who headed the clusters, for example, if you were heading the cluster on
maybe transport,
etc., then that should go not just by writing turnover note, but to do your own counting. How many vehicles do you have there? Can we check your asset management record? when you go there, okay, who the vehicles are assigned to should be in that record. Then if these vehicles were government property, they would be active. If they were not government property and sold to somebody else, they should not be in that system. They should be in the GSA system. Then you cross-reference. This is the attention to detail that is not in our culture in Liberia. So we rush with everything, and then in the end, we'll go after each other. A good intention for the country becomes bad because you've missed, a few steps which you could have prevented if you had paid attention to details. That's my only disappointment in the regime and those who the president trusted to manage that transition process. But the idea of retrieving what is supposedly public assets for the use of the incoming people to reduce the cost of buying new assets is a good thing.
Now, asset declaration and versus assets publication. I've not heard you speak to that effect. I may be wrong, but I've not heard you speak. I've not seen you write to that effect. Well, public officials, do you think public officials' assets should be published after declaration?
We need to change the law, and I will be championing that in this session of the legislature to include the publication in the code of conduct. The law does not require it. It's a weakness in the law. I think we should say declare and publish before you take office.
No, but the man you supported, sorry, I could have to call him the man, but not in the denigrating form. Mr. Bwaka, during his campaign, was clear on the record that if elected, he was going to declare his assets and have them published. If I say I have my team publish it. That hasn't happened. There are still public outcries for Mr. Bwaka now as president to have his assets published. As you chair on public accounts, that's why I'm asking you some of these questions that may be tied to your job, maybe after 3 or 4 budget quarters. Do you think Mr. Bwaka should still go ahead to publish his assets? Say it was a commitment he made during the campaign.
On the issue of declaration, he has met the legal requirements. Again, on the issue of publication, that is a choice. And I must confess that I too have not published yet, but I will.
But you didn't campaign on that. You didn't make commitment in Babolo.
That's true.
Mr. Bwaka made commitment.
Yeah, that's true. Again, I think that by not publishing, he's not breaking any laws. What we need to do now is to make a law.
Some believe he's breaching his commitment. When you make commitment as a public figure, that's integrity issue, Senator. So if you delay in doing that, it gives you additional time to do it. But if you're refusing to do that, then you're breaching your own commitment.
I think we will encourage the president to meet his commitment.
Okay. So let me take you to this other one, and it has to do. There has been a lot of kolobalu around tenure positions and nominations in tenure positions with the impending legal entrapments and all that. So as a former government official, somebody who was around when some of these positions were even made tenure, what's your view about the decision to make appointment in these tenure positions? What do you think would be the best way around them if they are illegal?
Abu, your question is an important question for governance. Institutions matter. If we want to really see Liberia improve, we need to take our institutions seriously.
Okay.
The issue of tenure position is before the court, as you're aware. So as a member of the legislature, I can't really say much about it. But my view is that we should do everything to respect our laws.
Do you see a disrespect of the law somewhere?
Well, maybe missteps in the process. The legal experts say there's a constitutional provision that gave the president uh, the prerogative to work with who he or she wants to work with. And then some people say that applies to specific agencies. And then these 10 new positions were created to preserve the integrity of these institutions, the institutional knowledge, and transition should be seamless. It's not a civil service. And the reason is that these institutions are very important for the governance and stability of our country. And they are in key sectors where you don't want to disrupt. So these are the variables you have to look at when you are making decisions about either maintaining or changing people who are in these positions. But we should try our best not to do it outside of the law, and that is why it is before the Supreme Court.
Okay, and so this other one, sometimes in early March, we witnessed something that we've not seen with regards the former president. When he returned to the country, it was reported that he was being denied passage through the VIP lounge at the airport, even though he is a VIP. And then we also saw the EPS, the Executive Protection Service, that's supposed to provide security for VIPs, designated VIPs in the country, declining proposal, alleged proposal from the former president for VIP protection service. What's your thoughts on that?
Look, if part of preserving democracy in Liberia is our openness to allow our former president to live with us, to live among us. We should never create a situation where when people are in power, they are terrified about life after power and may want to hang on and create unnecessary stress for the country.
Okay.
We should make life after the presidency easier for our former president. The allegations of the VIP was, well, if it's true, I wasn't there, it's wrong. Former President Weah should have been given access to that. And just so you know, with the support of other senators, I've co-sponsored a bill that is now before the Senate on the presidential transition. Okay, and it's in the Judiciary Committee room now. And one of the things we discussed in our last meeting was to address this issue, make it law, the benefits of former president, make it clear and pass it into law. And when that person leaves office, that person can do that. And we're going to make it retroactive to, existing former presidents, so that when they pass through our airports, they have VIP access to the place. And in terms of the security, they are entitled to it, but the number is the one that we are still debating in committee room. But to answer your question, I think presidents should enjoy certain immunities after the presidency, certain benefits for them and their families.
Okay, this one, and that has to do with civil servants, people working for government. The campaign of the man you supported for president, now the president of the republic, Mr. Joseph Simon Boakai, championed the call for better incentives for workers, people working in government, and all that. So we are getting reports about summary dismissals in areas. I mean, even read in the executive mansion, there are reports about mass dismissals of employees believed to be on supplementary arrangements and all that. And there is the harmonization process, which is a law. So what is your view on these employees making decision on employee status in government in terms of downsizing, right-sizing, or salary, reversing people's salary to the previous status in the face of the harmonization, which is a law?
On the issue of the harmonization, my understanding is that there's an audit on the whole harmonization thing. So I'm just waiting for the budget to pass so I can actually focus on my committee work. If there's an audit, then we have to read it and get the Auditor General's opinion and recommendations, and we'll proceed from there. But I don't want to speculate on the whole harmonization policy that was implemented by the previous regime. On the issue of HR stresses that we are seeing, human resources stresses that we are seeing, I saw a video of employees that purported to be of employees at the executive mansion. We're hearing things, reading things on social media. I'm looking forward to a comprehensive report on that from the Civil Service Agency. Once they complete that process, then I will be in a position as a senator to make a judgment. But I encourage everybody. I read a letter today, this morning, when I was reading the news on my phone, that the Civil Service Agency's director has put a circular out there that the freeze on hiring has been lifted. That tells me that he has completed this work and is in a position to advise the president and hopefully the legislature on where he met the Country Human Resources Act.
He has completed which work, to be particular? Which work?
The
work to remove people from the payroll.
I hope he has, by lifting the freeze, the former president, outgoing president, put a freeze on it during the transition. So he has lifted the freeze. So between that time and now, I hope he has completed reviewing the human resources position of our government vis-a-vis the civil service, contractors, supplementary payroll, so that he's in a position to advise the president. I understand today's cabinet, and then we can be advised appropriately on that. But other than that, I cannot say anything.
Well, it's sad that you have a meeting at 10 o'clock, so let's go into the budget. We have a summary conversation about the budget and gauge your initial opinions. But I probably may have to come back here another time as the real budget debate process starts. But I'm going through the budget and the recurrent expenditure, the summary. And I need to speak to just the summary. Now, I see compensation of employees in the total of 297.2 million, representing 46.6% of our budget. I also see goods and services, 90.19 million, representing 14.1%, and then subsidies 0.3%, $16.164 million, grants, social benefits. I see 17.95 million, representing 2.8%, non-financial asset, and then debt service. I see 129 million, representing 20.1% of the expenditure component of our budget. Private sector investment plan, I see estimated around 51.89 million. In as much as I found that very, very discouraging and low, but there's a reduction in the envelope from 2023 2024. The first question is, why do you think the reduction do you think the reduction was necessary?
We need to understand the drivers of the reduction. And that's the process we are going through now. And I think the Ministry of Finance is trying to be conservative.
And we're considering your opinion on this matter as former finance minister.
Yeah, they're trying to be conservative in their projections, particularly on the revenue end. The governor of all budget is domestic resources, meaning the superintendent of all government budget is the revenue you generate inside your country. So Uh, because of that, the budget process in the legislature, which is going to be a joint committee work between the House and the Senate, there will be a revenue component to look at the revenues to see the assumptions behind all the projections and look at other areas where they may have projected, and then see if we can push the envelope a little bit more. So it boils down to the economic revenue as a function of projected economic growth. And if you read the budget, the economy is expected to grow this year at 4.6%. So with that, though a respectable growth number, but you could also be exposed to external factors beyond your control.
Yeah, because they spoke about the external decline
Yeah.
as the primary reason for
Yeah.
the decrease.
Correct. You have a lot of crises going on. COVID is not there anymore, but you have geopolitical crisis happening that affect Liberia, small Liberia. So in that case, you want to be conservative. But we will look at the details of these, of the assumptions behind the revenue numbers when we meet on it, I believe, beginning today.
You earlier described the 2023 draft budget as a do nothing.
Yeah.
How will you describe this draft budget?
This draft budget is the same budget that was returned. This budget I call do nothing budget is the same budget that was returned. It's the same pro-poor budget. It pays wages and salaries. But this time, the Ministry of Finance even made it more pro-poor by putting more money into education and health. It still addresses the same issue that budget I call do nothing is addressing. That is why we in the Senate have been meeting and we have proposals.
How do you call this budget?
Well, it's still the same do nothing budget, so to speak. That's what I'm trying to say. With $50 million in public sector investment program, it doesn't do much to enhance economic growth. Today we are growing at 4%. Unless we invest in the economy, we fix electricity. In the budget, there's nothing there for LEC. Right? We fix agriculture. In the budget, there's nothing there for agriculture. We really invest in tourism. In the budget, there's nothing there for tourism.
Okay.
It would be difficult for us to increase the envelope or the cake, so to speak, so that we can invest in the people the way they should receive support from their government. There's no water in the city. So, Abu, what I'm trying to say here is that when I say do nothing budget, paying people, etc., it's okay. That money will likely circulate in the economy. The impact in terms of revenue generation might be up and down depending on the cyclicality of the cash. We need to be bold. We need to look at our debt portfolio and see if after 2010, when we got the debt waiver, 2010, 2020, that's 10 years. 2024, we're in the 14th year now. That's more than a decade. They say a time for us as a country to review our debt portfolio and consider restructuring it to sort of create the space to increase our investment, public sector investment budget. So we can't do that now before passing this budget. But we have to look at the other places. Forestry, for example, has been a major source of revenue for our economy.
Okay.
But the contribution from the forestry sector in this budget is 1.5 million. We need to press in this budget to understand why we have gone from approximately 10 million contribution in the sector to 1.5 million. Do we have administrative bottlenecks? Do we have environmental pressure not to harvest our forests that has been a source of income for the country and the communities that own them? In that case, can we push the Minister of Finance, the Forestry Development Authority, through the President to approach the environmental funds that have been established? They are called the Climate Fund, to reimburse Liberia for conserving one of the last remaining forests in the Guinea forest, because they call our forest the Guinea forest. So the SOEs, for example, since the end of the war, the GMAP program, the Governance and Economic Management Program that USAID was funding here, was targeted mainly at the SOEs. And then we transitioned from there, we got Liberians in there, put systems in place. But the contributions of the SOEs to the government in the form of dividends to Liberians who are the shareholders in these companies is very too small for the level of investment we've made in them.
How do we increase that?
Correct. That's the conversation we need to have there. I got my views, and my view is that we review their operating budget to see how they're spending the money there. Look at their revenue, how they're spending it. Are they spending the money to sort of invest in infrastructure, for example, in the port, in the LPRC and others, in order to increase their potential to raise more revenue, and then they can begin to contribute to the budget? Or are they spending it on the seeing recurrent expenditure? Some recurrent expenditure are discretionary. Some are non-discretionary. Your debt and your compensation, you can't play with that. That is why leaders must be careful not to politicize the human resources process. I know we're under pressure, but just imagine if we were focused on the private sector as political leaders. You win elections, you make the private sector your priority, which is not the case in this budget. So that when the private sector does well, most of your partisans, etc., can do well in the private sector. You can't bring everybody into the government because it makes the government fat. And when the government is fat, it's difficult to lose weight. That is why the harmonization, the summary firing, etc. It's not the first time we saw it before. I'm not justifying anything, but it's a vicious cycle. So next election, if somebody happens to win and come again, you got to take the other people from the other person, people from there, you bring your people. Why can't we just look at the private sector now in the circular flow of the economy? The three main pieces of the economy: the government, the households, and the businesses. The household is constant. We're going to keep born children. We are born at 2.1%. This explosion, our population is growing up.
Okay.
So you can't change that, right? The government, the people in the household need jobs in order to survive. And the two places you can get jobs from is either the government or in the private sector. But the focus has been on the government, and that is why the government is bigger now, and the private sector is getting little attention. And this is why the Small Business Act that was passed in 2015 is very relevant for this budget. The 90 million you talk about, we must now make sure that majority of that 90 million does not go to the foreign contractors, the foreign businesses in this country, but to small Liberian businesses who have the capacity to supply the government with goods and services. So that is why I call that budget do nothing budget then. And that is why I believe this budget can be changed to make it more growth enhancing. It is this government's first budget that it inherited. I think the legislature was wise to say, here, look at it and see how you can make it better to suit your agenda. But tourism is not in this budget. Agriculture is very low in this budget. So we need to look at contingent revenues that are conditional on us taking action on other things.
Okay.
And then roll up our sleeves and work 24/7 to actualize those revenues and make the investment. This is my initial. We need to focus on revenue side of the budget.
All right, Senator.
Now, talking about growth in the private sector, I'm sure you have already gone through the budget. You know where the necessary, the realistic lands are. You know where the realistic lands are not. You know you've already identified streams that just maybe considered unnecessary. So let's shift from here to this point. What do you say about that? What do you think we need to shift? We're talking about a conversation about finance ministry getting additional, increment in her budget, according what kind of pool fund or some stuff and all of that. So what do you think we need to shift realistically?
Austin Abu, you look like you're expert in the budget now, but I'll give you my opinion anyway. Again, we need to sit down. We need to have public hearing on these budgets. The finance ministry will have to explain, for example, the deficit pool fund. I think it's just being introduced. So we understand what it means. Does it mean that it's money there that they will use only if there's a deficit in the budget? Running deficit budget is not a crime as long as you can keep it under 5%.
Sorry to interrupt, but the narrative in the budget speaks to what speaks to that already.
So
what do we need?
Why should we have $8 million for that if we can just maybe indicate in the budget? Fine, we are a recovering economy. We are going through reconstruction. The country does not have water. I took a picture of a little girl yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that post.
Opposite LPRC, fetching water from under a light pole that was sprouting from there, just like in the desert. And it was just, I had to share that because these are the issues we must address. So if we keep $8 million afraid not to say there was a budget shortfall, and that child continues to drink that water, the life expectancy of that child it's a human rights issue. So we can solve that problem by telling the Ministry of Finance, we don't mind deficit spending, but keep it at 3 to 5%. Okay, and then we invest that money in something more productive, so that next year you don't have to worry about that. We'll have to make the investment this year. So 9 months from now, the investment can actualize additional space for revenue. That is why for this budget, I'm going in along with some colleagues. We're building a coalition to focus on electricity. I have been a big advocate. People think it's personal between me and Money Captain. It's not. We must solve the electricity problem in our country and push our economy from the one shift we have now to double shift, meaning from 9 to 5, and then after the 5 to 12, 1 o'clock economy is all entertainment. Not bad, but there got to be more productive activities. Those who are producing water, those who are producing other things in the industrial park, the Seti brothers of the world are producing locally, and everybody else overnight, you got to produce something to sell in the 9 to 5 economy. With the high cost of electricity, that prevents you from actually pushing your business to its maximum, so you can maximize your sales, your revenues, and hire more people. This is why I was talking about we need to focus on the private sector. So that's priority for me going into this conversation. The other priority for me is agriculture. And this time we have to be intentional about agriculture. Yes, this is a Malthusian economy where it's still agrarian. A lot of people in the rural Liberia are doing subsistence farming. We have to help them with agricultural inputs like rice seeds, hops, and other things.
That has been the cycle. We've been
Correct.
in the cycle over and over.
We can
expand.
Yeah, exactly. But the other thing we need to do now is, okay, how about we introduce the concept of one country, one crop?
That sounds
interesting.
Yeah.
All crop, one country, one crop. You can grow other things.
Dominance.
But we want, for example, buffalo to be specialized in growing this crop. We want NIMBA to be the main place, Cape Mount, etc., and then support that effort.
The
All right.
Ministry of Agriculture has the technical capacity to lead that draft.
Correct.
But again, it requires financing.
Come from the budget.
I
Decision
think
has to be made
this
from the
new
budget.
Minister of Agriculture is a former colleague. He and I have worked our career journeys together in Liberia. He's a very smart man, Dr. Alexander Nuta, very passionate about the sector, and I think he will do well if we support him. Look, Austin, we import chicken eggs into this country. Why can't we produce eggs here? So now I understand there's a financing agreement that the last administration signed. I haven't seen it, but people in the Senate have told me it's to address that issue. Now, I haven't seen the fine print, but it was intended to make that investment in the agriculture sector for Liberia to be a producer of eggs, an important source of protein for our diet. What is wrong with that? So we have to. The tourism sector, for example, is part of the IREST program. So maybe we may not invest heavily in tourism this year, but we need to be tactical and identify the entry points, right?
Yeah, maybe we start building the infrastructure.
Correct. The entry point, identify, okay, we're going to make Buchanan, we're going to make Cape Mount, and Rabosport in Buchanan, and then the Morovia beaches, and the entertainment center here, the focus. Then we need to establish a tourism board. I think tourism is still in the Ministry of Information.
I think the bill should be in the legislature to establish the tourism commission.
Okay, then that's something we need to pass. That's something we need to pass to do that. The other thing we need to also look at in this budget discussion is how we try to look at all our concessions in the country. Let's forget about the noise, and this is where my frustration comes from. We make too much noise in the country than act. We create allegations. Oh, Austin, you did a mistake, you did that mistake. But we are smart people.
We're not owning our mistakes. We're shifting blame
here and there. So we should, as a government, sit down, commission a review of all these concessions in the country to determine who is performing and who is not performing. And where we see egregious violation in a contract, we should take action.
That's correct. Take action. And so I'd like to take you to a bit of politics as we wind down on the conversation this morning. And 5 days ago, you were seen in picture with Henry Costa.
Yes.
And it rose eyebrows across the political spectrum of our country. And you posted, and I'm particular about what you said in paragraph 2 of the post you made subsequently. Sadly, he couldn't, though I'd like to take it from here. Henry Costa did more to keep President Joseph Boakar's candidacy for president alive than any Liberian. A lot of the folks around the Unity Party believe that's a disservice to their sacrifices and the commitment from 2017 up to the end of the election. Why did he make that comment? Were you trying to politically appease Henry?
Appease him for what? I was showing gratitude.
Political dividend.
No. You see, I'm not worried about 2029. My focus is how to get this economy going again. That's my focus right now. If the economy does well, we all will do well. So let me come to the Henry Costa thing. Henry and I live probably about 30 minutes apart in the United States. I live in Pennsylvania. And when you drive about 20 minutes to 30 minutes from my place, you are in Delaware, where Henry lived. Henry was my fiercest critic when I was Minister of Finance here.
Sure.
I told him that he didn't know how much he kept me grounded, how much you, the media people, I take you very seriously. Our critics are now our enemies. In fact, if anything, the people who tell us the truth are the people that are helping us to do well, even though most of the things that the Liberian media publish, are questionable, but that's a whole different debate.
Most of you.
Yeah. So, but the job of the media, honestly, is to keep public officials in check. And I hope you'll continue to do that with integrity. Now, so Henry myself has several rendezvous in PA, on weekends when I was not busy. When I travel a lot over the last 7 years since I've been out of the country. I just got exhausted. I don't like planes anymore. Yeah, I travel too much. I've registered a lot of miles. I'm still using them. I can buy, economy class ticket and just upgrade because I got thousands of miles with different airlines. Yeah, So, I came from a point of gratitude. Henry supported me in my campaign, morally, and then last minute, when I was in Buffalo campaigning, I got a call from his political leader, Honorable Benoni Ure,
Okay.
and my sister Tilia. They said, Amara, we hear that you're doing well over there, and somebody like you, I'm quoting them, somebody like you in the Senate will have value. We need to change the way governance is. And we believe that you bring a lot to the table, and we would like to contribute to your campaign. And they contributed $3,000 to my campaign, the two of them. So after the election, I met with Tilia. When I heard that Henry was in town, I went to meet him to thank him. I have not met with Mr. Ure yet. We're still trying to make that arrangement because my mother told me to say thank you whenever people do good for me.
Okay.
Maybe my statement may have been a bit over exaggerated, but who in Liberia, when Henry was on radio, was more critical of the Weah regime than him, and every time he ended his criticism by saying that Joseph Boakai would be the next president. I don't think most people did that. So I have spoken to some of my
So you
friends.
think that was all the price needed to make Joseph Boakai president?
Well, it contributed to it because Henry did not leave the campaign until when the whole thing happened with the vice president thing, when the election in 2023. So he was with the UP and Mr. Boakai from 2017 election all the way to that moment. That's almost like a year. That's almost like 6 years. So I put a caveat in my statement that sadly he could not stay to end it. We are all humans, guys. If we cannot reconcile, with each other, if we cannot recognize somebody's human mistake and say, well, maybe there's room to work with him again, then of course. And I think Henry has learned a lot from this because I told him the last time we met in the US, I advised him to remain neutral. If you don't get what you wanted, what you expected in any relationship, you remain neutral, you focus on your principles. It's the same with every relationship. If you go through a divorce, for those who have experienced that, especially when people have helped each other, you got children, etc., it's good to be respectful of each other than to tear each other apart in the public. We had a very good lunch that day. He assured me that it was going to happen. So I was surprised when I saw him come out supporting Mr. Weah.
Did you ask him why?
No, up to that time, I decided not to interfere. It's his constitutional choice. Until after the election, he explained some things to me. I think now, 3 months into this new regime, if we are serious about reconciliation, we have to start from within. Maybe my statement is what people are looking at, but the intention was to show gratitude to a brother. We talk about reconciliation, and we talk about self-reflection, And I'm glad that I was able to meet with him. Henry has been respectful of me since we we started having these visits in the U.S.
You seems to be fond of Henry, and the reason I asked about the intention is it that you identify that somebody is being ungrateful to Henry?
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I mean, I don't judge people.
Yeah,
No, I will leave it. I will leave it with those who've had issue with Henry. I'm just telling the public that Henry supported me, and I went to thank him, and I felt that I needed to share that he played a major role in keeping the current president's candidacy alive in the opposition. But then he left at the end. His reasons for leaving is something that he and those who disagree with him will have to resolve. But I just wanted to show gratitude. I may have exaggerated a bit about that, the way I put that statement, but I'm just saying that just like anybody else, maybe I should have seen that he contributed just like anybody else to keep the campaign alive. But it is water under the bridge for me. I hope that all his former friends, political friends, particularly in the Unity Party, would think about the time when they will wake up in the morning and brainstorm with him. They relied on him to say certain things that they were afraid to say, and remember that his perhaps human indiscretions were youthful mistakes.
I believe your voice has been a little lowered in the issues with regards to the Kinjo incident. I may be wrong, but I've not heard you speak a lot about it.
Yeah.
And I'd like to understand how do you speak to the approach of the government in the Kinjo matter, and when do we expect to have resolution of the situation?
The issue of the Kinjo matter is to find a solution, and I'm a solution person. We have been meeting as a caucus. I'm sure you've heard the formation of the Western Region Caucus, comprising Bomi, Cape Mount, and Bapulu. Bomi is chairing, Cape Mount is co-chairing, and Bapulu is the secretary. We have agreed as a caucus, a region, the same people, same cultures, same issues, similar mining operation, the mining sector, to come together as a team to address these issues. And that is why I haven't spoken publicly about it. Let me tell you what the steps the caucus has taken so far. We agreed to engage the presidents of the Bar Association in Western Line in the 3 counties. That meeting has happened, and we've given them a terms of reference to review all the mining concession, mineral development agreements, including the sale of Sem Darby to Mano agreement, commitments that were made to help us determine if these companies were meeting their obligations to the citizens. That work has started. When we get that, we intend to share that with the Senate and the executive for redress. And this time we want solution to this. The other thing we've done is to form an ad hoc committee to be the intermediary for reconciliation, for everybody to cool down until we can get that report. Where we find violation of contracts by the mining company, they either fix it, or we could potentially recommend reprimand in many ways. Our objective is not to harass investors, it's not to threaten them, but we are under obligation to enforce the rules in the contract. That's our job that benefit our people. And so this regional caucus, Western Region Caucus, is going to address that with Kinjo. Even in my county, Bapulu, there's Biochico there. There's a lot of issues. It's just that our people, most of the time, will intervene, they listen. But we are not happy with Biochico. But we want to take the legal approach. The bombing people are not happy with the Western Cluster operation there. The MOU that gave them the rights to the road to ship iron ore is being violated. And so everybody has gone individually to engage them. Nothing has changed. So we've decided to come now as a collective, working as one caucus, taking our observation to our colleagues in the Senate, and if necessary, to the president in the executive.
Okay, that's the voice of the senator of Babolu County. Let's go to the telephone lounge and pick a few calls. A couple of calls. He has a meeting at 10, already past 10, 15 minutes past 10. So let's see what we can talk to 6 persons in 30 seconds each on 0776 104 104 0886 500 104. We take 2 calls from the diaspora on +231 886 500 104. So let's go to the telephone lounge. Speak with the diaspora folks first. Let's hear you, Amos. Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, Austin. Good morning, Abu. And good morning, Senator Onen.
Good morning.
My first question to the Honorable Senator have with the last statement that he just said that the 3 companies are in violation of the mineral agreement law of the country. So is he telling us that these companies are more like powerful than the government, that they will sign an agreement and then they have to go to a caucus? Why can't they just impose whatever fine that these companies have to pay back to the citizen instead of going to another caucus where we end up leading again to another envelope being shared?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So let's take this caller. Hello, good morning. Good morning.
And let me also say good morning to your people, Honorable Senator Amara Conan. My name is Eugene S. Union, and I'm calling you from Capital Bar. Abu and Austin, thanks for the previous questions being asked. And I think we'll
Chief, just go straight to your point.
Go to your point, man. No time.
My point is, Abu, the issue that has to do with the popular work. You know, in recent time, we're poor. Even Senator McGill have a press conference on the issue of popular work, giving our contrast in the absence of budget, committing the government of Liberia to zero companies, consider companies. So I want to know from the senator, have you gotten that information? If yes, how far you have gone on its own investigation?
Okay, thank you very much on his own investigation. Who's in Kiewu? Morning.
Thank you, Abu. Good morning. Good morning to Abu. Good morning to your guest. My name is Hussein Kiewu, and I call for this week. Many thanks to you, Senator. But this is my question. What's your stand on the issue of war and economic transport?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's take the second and last caller from the diaspora. Go ahead on the +701 number.
Good morning to the people of Liberia, and Assalamu alaikum. This is Mamadi Maurice Kamara, and I'm calling from Frankfort, North Dakota. So I got a couple of questions from.
Just concise it to one.
Senator is a member on the public account at the level of the Senate. In recent times, he published his assets. That he has declared assets, but for transparency reasons, isn't going to make it public. For transparency reasons, my second question is, if I could call you.
What?
Call myself as the standard bearer.
Come again with your.
Call you to go and serve as standard bearer. Will you accept? I think that's the second question.
Okay. The last question is clear. Let's take this person. Good morning. Please go ahead quickly.
Yeah, my name is Lando calling from Do Community. I want to ask the honorable mayor a question. I hear saying that one unity among Nigeria. My question to the honorable mayor, my first time when you're working to power for 6 years. For honorable man Amara Kone to speak on peace and reconciliation. Because now he's speaking on it because the unity party government is in power now. That's why he's speaking on peace and reconciliation. Is my question to him.
Thank you very, very much. We take the last and final call from this other record number. Good morning. Go ahead.
Good morning. Thank you. Good Paris, and good morning to everyone.
Okay, Frank.
Thank you very much. Mr. Kone.
Frank, you're live. Go ahead.
Thank you. Mr. Kone, I just want to ask you the Senate intention of dealing with the asset recovery, the manner in which they are proceeding. Go into the street and returning people personal property without court order. Is not that a violation of the Constitution by you as a senator? What do you speak on that? And on the issue of Henry Costa, you have said Henry Costa and Taylor, you and people supported you. Would you actually prefer, if it was your choice, Henry Costa and Jeremiah Cole would have been the best choice?
Thank you very much, Frank Gibson. Senator, you can go ahead and respond to those concerns.
Okay. I'll be quick because I'm running late for my meeting.
Sorry about that.
On the first question where the caller said that I said the companies have violated the MDAs, that's not accurate. I don't know that for sure because the Bureau of Concession has not given us any report to indicate that. That is why we're now waiting for them. But what I have heard in our meetings from different lawmakers is that they're in violation here, they're in violation there. That is why we took the high road professional approach to bring in the Bar Association to do this review for us. And so that when we go out and stand, we don't bang our head down. So we ask for patience to do that. We shouldn't be here, my brother. The Bureau of Concession was created to do that. If they did not do that, to leave something on file, then we have to do it within Liberian laws, not to harass investors and so on. And I can tell you that this issue of brown envelope, which is the perception about this legislature, there's nothing like that in here. We have resolved that even to go to the concession sites to address this issue, we will make sure that we finance our own trips. No concessionaire is going to give gas or this or that. We will release our working rules in due course. Now, the caller about the public work contract that Senator McGill talked about, Senator McGill shared that with me, and he got my full support. He has spoken. We are supporting his effort in the Senate on these matters, and I think the issue now is before the pro temp. I think she's giving it to a committee. There we work by committee. On the issue of the War and Economic Crimes Code, I support it. I believe those who are accused of human rights violations in the TRC report should face justice. I believe that the Economic Crimes Code should be separate from the War Crimes Code because they are two different animals. And the War Crimes Code, when I was asked to give my view on it in committee room, my view is I am a direct victim of it, so I don't want to personalize it. My father, my brothers, my whole village in Bapulu was massacred, and evidence thrown in the Lofa River. But there are people who are still alive that saw this happen. Some of them who survived are people that are here to talk about this. My thing is, we know Liberia. We know how we make noise here, but it doesn't lead anywhere. We don't complete anything here because we're related to each other. We are a very corrupt society. we compromise judges and so on and so forth. We threaten people who are doing investigation. This war happened 30 years ago. If I'm American and say my father was killed on the bridge in Smith Camp, I must go and show somebody that. I can't just go to a court and go say they did it and they just indict the person. So those investigators must have integrity, so they don't take money on the side, so that justice go to the highest bidder. We know how this system works. The system is so bad that nothing works here. So the question is, what kind of court are we going to have? How do we provide security for this court? Is the police equipped to do this? Who are going to be the judges? Can we sequester them in a way that throughout this process they don't interact with actors so that they can get compromised? Who are the jurors? We know that the jury system is commercialized in Liberia. There's so many things wrong here. I can go on and on and on. We know plenty of things. We need to fix our country. So I support it. It has my strong support. Perpetrators of the war who are still alive should face justice. But I too want to make sure that they face justice with the presumption that you are innocent until proven guilty under our law.
Okay.
And then the asset thing and the ACO thing. I think I talk about the asset thing.
Sure.
But ACO, if ACO asked me to be their standard bearer, my brother in North Dakota, I am the senator of the great county of Bapulu. My focus right now is to make this budget growth enhancing. It's not easy. We got 103 lawmakers, 73 on the House side, 30 on the Senate side. We need to build a coalition to make sure that we find additional resources for the energy sector, for the agriculture sector, for the tourism sector, but mainly money for the proposed sectors in health and education. The quality of education in our school is lousy. Our volunteer teachers are not getting paid. The district education officer, DEOs, and the county officers are not visiting the schools because they are not mobile to provide in-service training and to make sure that the teachers are teaching the children per the curriculum. We need instructional materials. We need to improve classroom pedagogy. These are the things that I'm focused on. Our hospitals, there's some money now in the sector to pay health workers and to buy drugs. We need to buy more drugs, but our referral hospitals that have more demands on them, we're talking about JFK, Redemption, Phoebe, JJ Dorsen, Telewunya, Emirates, and the hospital in Bomi. We need to make additional investments so that they have access to 24/7 electricity. We can put solar panels on the roof so that all of these referral hospitals have electricity, so no patient can die on the operating table. These are the things
do you want to be president of this country?
Now. I want to be a good senator. Then the people can decide from there. Then the unity among Liberians, it's not my first time, my brother from the bypass. Not my first time talking about reconciliation. If you follow me, maybe the first time hearing me on radio. But if you follow me, I think we need to amend the Unification Day law to call it unification and reconciliation. And then all the war crimes code that we are doing, there are components in the TRC recommendation that talk about monuments and Palava discussions and ceremonies to memorialize the dead. We could amend and include reconciliation in the Unification Day and really make it more meaningful across the country, where we can memorialize those who passed, and then both the families of those who have been accused now of committing some of these heinous crimes, and the family of the victims can all be in one place to reconcile, to pray for the dead, and so on and so forth. We have to do something. In Rwanda, when you go there, there's a whole museum on their atrocities that happened there. They preserve the skulls of people. It's displayed. It's like the It's like the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. When you go there, you come out as a different person when it comes to how you see human beings. The same thing in Rwanda. What can we do here? We could do it in Banga, the central point of the country that everybody can have access to, and build a national memorial and put photographs of the atrocities there so our children can see and say, oh, this happened here. Most of the children today in this generation don't know what happened here. Then finally, Frank talked about asset recovery, no order, and so on. Yes, it's true. Part of the constitutional right is, property. When you have something that is your personal property and it's being alleged that it's a public property you have, there got to be a process to establish the facts. And the only process we have in our country is the courts. And that is why I was happy when the court reversed certain decisions, because it was established in the court that the property that was confiscated was a personal property.
Okay.
And then the whole thing on the Costa issue, what was the question on Costa again?
Costa versus Jeremiah.
Oh, yeah,
I prefer him.
Yeah. I absolutely got no fish to fry in that one. That was President Barker's decision, and it's clear that he made the right decision.
Okay.
Abu, we have to go.
Yes, we have to go. Time is fast spent, and many thanks to all of you for being there and participating in the conversation. We couldn't ask all of the questions, but we hope to have the senator here one of these days to continue from where we stopped.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm happy that I came. You guys are opposition station, so you're asking a lot of opposition questions.
It's good to be opposition.
I like it.
Then you stand with the people.
That's true. I like it. In our democracy, everybody can be on the same side. And so, you got to keep us on our feet. That's the job of the opposition.
I saw to those of you who follow us, Senator Conan consciously walked into this place to speak to the concerns, knowing that this place is a quote-unquote opposition station. These are the brave men, these are the brave public officials we're looking for, who walk into critical terrains and engage. Once the engagements are friendly and respectful, it's important that we face each other in our democracy. And that's how our democracy grows. So, folks, thanks to all of you for following. My name is Austin Kawa. Abu Sharif was here as my co-driver. Until we see you tomorrow, by God's grace, may God bless all of us and save our state. Bye-bye.
They were created in the image of God.